Hi, today I'm going to talk about eggs and egg consumption and why eating eggs is not a healthy choice. Now, when you think about plants are living structures with chlorophyll containing cells, and what they do is they basically take carbon dioxide out of the air in exchange for producing oxygen. Now, plants do not have blood, they do not have brains, they do not have organs, and they don't have nervous systems. Contrary to this, animals do have brains, they do have blood, they do have organs, they do have nervous systems, and they do have feelings. And these living organisms have saturated fat and cholesterol that is associated with all of their cells and tissues. So when you think about an egg, and you think about the chicken and the hen and what hatches out of the egg, you have to realize that all of these components must be included in the egg when it's laid. So we're talking about the feathers, the bones, the claws, the beak, the intestinal tract, and even all of the internal organs. They have to be in there. And cholesterol is used to build animal cell membranes. And so an enormous amount of cholesterol is packed in each egg. Now, I want to reference to Dr. Neil Barnard's book, The 21-Day Weight Loss Kickstart, which is a great book to have, especially for those who are trying to lose weight and do it the right way. This book will teach you how to lose weight, but not only lose weight, but keep the weight off, because you're actually losing weight the right way. It's not some fad diet. It's actually a proven system that will work. Now, in the book, Dr. Barnard mentions how a Burger King Whopper contains about 75 milligrams of cholesterol. A McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese contains about 90 milligrams of cholesterol, and a double quarter pounder with cheese, about 155 milligrams of cholesterol. One large egg, I should say, contains about 212 milligrams of cholesterol. That's more than eating a Whopper and a quarter pounder with cheese combined, and it's roughly equivalent to eating a double quarter pounder with cheese with a Whopper. Now, think about how damaging that is to your health. Now think about the damage one egg causes to your health. It's a lot. Eggs are designed to build chickens, not for humans to eat. And one of the main reasons why humans eat eggs is because they believe it's a good source of protein. Sure, eggs are a good source of animal protein, but as Dr. Barnard states, this is not advantageous. This is only creating more problems. Animal protein is very hard on the kidneys, and it encourages calcium loss. When we eat concentrated animal proteins, such as those found in eggs and fish and other animal-based foods, the kidneys are forced to cleanse the blood of the protein waste. Now, there's a lot of waste attached to animal protein, such as ammonia, uric acid, urea, the urine from the animals, amino acid fragments that have been denatured and cannot be utilized, and even other industrial pollutants. So in order to really cleanse the blood of this waste, we lose a lot of calcium in the process. This is known as hypercalcuria, where we're excreting calcium out with the urine as we cleanse the kidneys. And what this does is it leads to osteoporosis, because we store our calcium in our bones. In addition to the erroneous belief that we need eggs for protein and that eggs are a good source of protein for humans, many people believe that eggs are needed and necessary for the vitamin choline. Now, choline is an important nutrient that we do need in our system, but what's more important is knowing that there are several foods, plant-based foods, that contain choline in optimum amounts. And some of these include broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, chickpeas, flax seeds, garlic, grapes, pretty much all leafy green vegetables, lentils, pistachios, onions, sprouts, ripe tomatoes. I mean, I could go on and on. There are a lot of foods out there that contain these nutrients. So what we need to realize is there are no nutrients in any animal products that that we cannot obtain from eating plant-based foods. And that's something even Dr. T. Colin Campbell mentions in the China study. He writes, the 8 principles of health, and one of those, I believe it's principle number 3, is that there are virtually no nutrients in animal products that cannot be obtained from plant-based foods. And once we realize this, we'll start cutting down our health epidemic, and we'll reduce the rates of sickness and disease. But until then, and as long as people continue to eat animal products, we're going to see a lot of sickness, we're going to see a lot of disease. Eggs are also very mucus-forming. They're acid-forming. They contain arachidonic acid, which has been linked to Crohn's disease, arthritis, a lot of health conditions. They also, the mucus-forming properties in eggs begin to clog up our lymph fluid, our lymph system, our intestines, our colon. This paves the way for chronic degenerative diseases and conditions to develop. And I want to mention the 2008 Harvard Physicians Health Study, where they followed roughly 20,000 physicians for about 20 years. And the conclusion of the study was they found that consuming just 1 egg per day can significantly shorten our lifespan and increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers, especially pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, and breast cancer. Now, in 2011, the Cancer Prevention Research Journal published a study and this was in December of 2011, and they found that eating eggs leads to the formation of prostate cancer. And what was startling about this study is they found that men who ate just 2.5 eggs per week, that's about an egg every other day, increased their risk of developing prostate cancer by 81%. So what this tells us, and what this tells me, is by eating eggs, we're basically guaranteeing ourselves that we'll develop lethal prostate cancer. And that's not something I want in my lifetime, and I don't know why you would want that either. So the simple solution would be removing eggs. In addition to prostate cancer, Dr. Michael Greger, who runs the website nutritionfacts.org, he mentions a study where egg consumption was found to be tightly correlated with breast cancer, and women who ate more than half an egg a day were found to have 3 times more of a risk of developing breast cancer than those who abstain from eating eggs. So what does this tell us again? Don't eat eggs. That simple. If you want to reduce your risk of developing cancer, do not eat eggs. I couldn't put it in more simpler terms. And Dr. Greger also, this study was mentioned in his 2012 annual presentation he titled Uprooting the Leading Causes of Death. And in this same presentation, Dr. Greger mentions a competing risk analysis that was done at Harvard, the Harvard Health Study, and after a 35-year follow-up, it was determined that the amount of cholesterol that is obtained from eating 1 egg a day can cut a woman's life short just as much as smoking 5 cigarettes a day for 15 years. Now, these Harvard competing risk analysis studies, they're accurate, and this is truthful. This is accurate information. It obviously has not been funded by the egg industry, and what this is doing is exposing the truth to us. And this goes beyond the lies we were taught growing up that we need eggs for protein. It goes beyond what you might read in a fitness magazine or a bodybuilding magazine that tells you eggs are good for protein, you need eggs, because we don't need eggs. This is not truthful. You need to start reading books that are written by reliable sources that include medical studies and medical evidence, and that have not been funded by the egg industry in some way. And a good way to start would be reading a book such as The Raw Cure, which is actually my book. I have a lot of information in here about eggs and cholesterol and why they're damaging to your health and why dietary cholesterol negatively impacts our health. Another great book would be Sun Food Diet Infusion. by John McCabe, Transforming Health and Preventing Disease Through Raw Veganism. He does a great job explaining why eggs are also deleterious to our health. In addition to eggs leading to cancer and heart disease and stroke, let's talk a little bit about diabetes. In 2009, Harvard Medical School also published another study titled Egg Consumption and Risk of Type 2 Diabetes in Men and Women, and it was found that those with diabetes who eat eggs more than double their risk of death. And in this study, it was found that men who eat just one egg a day increase their risk of developing diabetes by 58%, while women increase their risk of developing diabetes by 77%. Now, what this is saying is by eating eggs, you're basically guaranteeing that you will develop diabetes. And this is why 1 in every 2 Americans on the standard American diet are said to develop heart disease, cancer, or diabetes in their lifetime. It's because we're eating animal products, eggs, and other meats and dairy, and it's really having a negative impact on our health. In addition to type 2 diabetes, what about gestational diabetes, which is diabetes formed during pregnancy? Researchers, after conducting a study, it was published in March of 2011 in the American Journal of Epidemiology, they found that pregnant women who ate just one egg a day doubled their risk of developing gestational diabetes. Now, I've heard some really wacky stories about these raw food so-called educators, self-proclaimed gurus, who suggest that it's healthy for children to eat eggs. Now, if a pregnant mom increases her risk of developing gestational diabetes while pregnant, think about what this is doing to children. Babies are developing type 1 juvenile onset diabetes because of egg consumption during pregnancy. Children are very prone to developing type 1 juvenile onset diabetes when they eat eggs. They're also basically increasing their chances of developing hypertension and heart disease at a young age. And we're seeing kids as early as preschool now who have high blood pressure and hypertension. And this is something 50 years ago we never would have imagined. And it's because of the animal-based, heavy animal protein diets. And eating eggs is a main contributor to these health conditions in children. So what I really hope you get out of this video is a more clear understanding of why eating eggs is not healthy, and I hope that you learned something from this. And I want to close the video with a quotation from Ellen DeGeneres, who in one of her books she wrote this quotation, and I found it to really caught my eye, and it's kind of comical. So Ellen said, "How did people ever even figure out that eggs were edible? Did they see something coming out of a chicken and think, boy, I bet that will be tasty? There had to be a first person who ever ate an egg. I'm sure it wasn't pleasant." And I'm sure it wasn't pleasant. Children are not born enjoying the taste of the menstrual cycle of a hen. It just, naturally doesn't happen. We're conditioned to eat eggs because parents believe that eggs are somehow nourishing for their health and necessary for their optimal well-being. And I hope this video helps you realize that that's not true, and I hope it encourages you to stop allowing your children to eat eggs, and I hope it encourages you to stop eating eggs yourself as well. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your day.